A year ago, I made a decision that changed my life. I've lost 78 pounds and I've gone from this to this. And honestly, if you'd shown me these two photos a year ago, I'm not sure I would have believed it was even possible. And over the last 12 months, I have learned a lot. Some things worked exactly as I hoped. Some things were much harder than I expected. And there were definitely a few surprises along the way that not a lot of people really warn you about or even talk about. So in this video, I want to share exactly what's happened over the last year. The highs, the lows, the lessons, and a few of the mistakes. Also what I do differently, and answer the question people ask me more than any other question. After 12 months and 78 pounds lost, was it worth it? Hello everyone, I'm Mando's Midlife, and after years of struggling with my weight and my health, I decided enough was enough. So this channel follows my journey towards better health, greater confidence, and a longer, more active life. If you're wondering if it's too late to change, I'm here to show you that it isn't. So if you're on your own health journey, a medicated weight loss journey, just trying to lose weight, get fitter, or simply become the best version of yourself, I'd love for you to join me. Don't forget to hit subscribe and let's see where this journey can take us. Right, so let's get straight into it. 12 months ago, I weighed 22 stone and 11 pounds. That's 319 pounds. Today, the number on the scale is very, very different. But the weight loss is only part of the story, because over the last year, a lot more changed than just the numbers staring back at me from the scales every morning. So let's have a look at a few of the numbers, shall we? So my starting weight was 22 stone 11. My current weight is 17 stone 3. So I've gone from 319 pounds down to 241 pounds, which is a 78 pounds loss. And that is in 12 months, 1 year. My waist size was 44 inch. So my trousers were 44 inch and they're now 38 inches. So that's 6 inches lost around the waist. My clothes size, now this always varied for me depending on what brand I would buy. And that was always quite frustrating for me because I'd buy a 3XL and it would fit perfect. I would choose a different brand, buy a 3XL, too small. So I've gone from a 3XL to an XL and it's absolutely phenomenal. The amount of clothes I've got rid of over the last 12 months, you would not believe. I did try and sell some on Vinted. Didn't have a great deal of luck with that. So all my bigger clothes have now gone. I've not kept any of them. And there was a time when I had them all vacuum packed in storage thinking I'll probably need them one day because I'm going to put all this weight back on. All gone. All went to the charity shop. And it's such a great feeling to be able to do that. The weight loss, the inches around the waist, the chest size, and then to get rid of those clothes. It really does feel fantastic. The bit I want to talk about now is how I got to be 22 stone and 11 pounds 12 months ago. And it's something I've not really discussed on the channel before. We've talked about a lot over this last 12 months, haven't we? We've talked an awful lot. But I've never really discussed how I feel I got to be the way I was when I decided that enough was enough. Because you don't just wake up one day 22 stone 11 pounds. That's not how it works. It's the culmination of many things over a length of time. And this isn't like over 6 months, this is over years and years. And then you do eventually wake up 22 stone 11 pounds. It's working weird hours, it's working long days, it's the convenience of food, and it's those bad habits becoming normal habits. And if I'm being completely honest, as I always will be on this channel, I was greedy. Simple as that. I was a greedy man. And I liked food. I liked big portions of food and I liked takeaways. And I liked the feeling that food gave me. I liked that feeling of being really, really full. I like that feeling when you're so full, your belly, and you just sit back and you go, oh, that's lovely. And that was part of me. But it's also a big part of the problem as well. And more often than not, that wasn't about hunger. It was about me wanting to eat more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and then a little bit more again. And over time, that becomes your normal. And if you're watching this, you've probably been in a similar situation where you convince yourself you're going to sort it out next week, you're going to sort it out Monday. Oh, it's okay, I'll start on the 1st of the month. I'll start at the end of the month. And you put it off, the following month, the following year, and then eventually you wake up 22 stone 11. But what's really, really strange about all this is you don't notice yourself becoming that person. And I know about the greedy bit. That's always been me ever since probably I was a teenager. But you only really notice it when you finally decide that you don't want to be that person anymore and that you want to do something about it. And that's a real trigger and a real moment when it becomes that the opportunity for these weight loss medications come along, and it removes it almost removes the willpower side of it, because we've all tried diets. You name a diet and I would have tried it, and for a small amount of time they work, but the consistency that the Mounjaro, these weight loss medications, allow you to put into these sort of weight loss journeys makes a huge difference for me, because ultimately weight loss is all about calorie deficit. It's as simple as that. There's no magic involved in any of this. There's no magic wand. There's no fairy godmother with a spell. It is about eating less calories, allowing yourself to go into calorie deficit, and then over time you'll lose weight, and the weight loss medications allow you to do that. So apart from the actual weight loss, that's 78 pounds going, what's changed for me physically since I started taking these medications? Mobility is a massive one for me. There were times when I was a lot heavier when I would put things off, maybe not want to do stuff. Shall we go for a walk on the moors? Shall we do this? Shall we do that? Really can't be bothered. And the reason I didn't want to do it is because I didn't want to be huffing and puffing up the hill, shuffling away, feeling awful and sweating like you do when you're a lot heavier. So it makes sense that all these things that I was not so much refusing to do, that I was putting off doing, are so much easier now. And then that encourages me to do it more often. And then that sort of creates that circle where you're exercising more, you're moving more, you're being healthier, you're potentially losing more weight. And it's silly things like going up the stairs. And I'm not going to lie to anyone, I wasn't, I was still fairly mobile. Going upstairs wasn't, a massive problem. But it was something that I would go, oh, I'll go upstairs again. It's that kind of thing. The physical changes that this has brought to me are amazing. Any joint pain that I may have had previously, occasionally I used to wake up with almost like a stiff hip, completely gone. Any knee pain, completely gone. And without doubt, sleeping so much better. I think being overweight makes sleeping quite uncomfortable at times. You got all these lumpy bits where they shouldn't be. You're quite often hot and sweaty, and it's just not comfortable, is it? And 78 pounds lighter, massive difference for me. I feel more rested when I wake up in the morning. I was possibly suffering with a little bit of sleep apnea at the time as well, and that seems to have gone as well. But from a general sort of health perspective, and it's the kind of things that people don't see day to day, and I probably don't notice it day to day, but when I sit here now and I look back over the last 12 months at what my life used to be like and what it used to feel like, the differences are absolutely phenomenal. And the reality is life probably feels easier now. And, I'm sat here as a 53-year-old man. Things are never going to be perfect for me, are they? I'm on the sort of, you could say I'm on the downward slope, but let's not talk about that. Things just feel easier. So what have been the biggest surprises for me over the last 12 months? Now, I don't think it was the weight loss. I expected to lose a lot of weight. I'd watched enough TikToks, enough YouTube videos, and enough Instagram reels to realise that the medication works. So that wasn't a huge surprise. One of the surprises for me is the length of time I'm having to take these medications, because I never expected to be on it for 12 months. I really thought it was more of a quick fix kind of medication, and I would take it for 3 months and I'd be like rubbing my six pack and flexing my muscles. It's not the case. I'm 12 months in and I've not reached my goal weight yet, so I'm feeling like potentially it's going to be a little bit more long term than it is, but we'll worry about that at a later date. The biggest surprise was the silence, the lack of food noise. If you have never experienced food noise, it's so hard to put into words. I didn't really think I had a food noise problem, and as I said previously in the video, I thought I was just perhaps greedy. But the silence from the food noise when it disappears is absolutely amazing. The constant thinking about food, the planning food, constantly negotiating with yourself, promising tomorrow's going to be different, then repeating that same cycle over and over again. For years I just thought I didn't have the willpower. But when that food noise disappeared, I realised there's something a lot bigger going on, and that's got to be the single biggest change for me over the entire year. The relief of not constantly thinking about food is immense. The relief of not planning meal after meal, eating breakfast, thinking about lunch, eating lunch, thinking about a snack, eating a snack, thinking about dinner, eating dinner, thinking about what I can have for supper. That is completely gone, and it is such a mental release. So what about a few hard truths then? It's not been easy. It really hasn't been easy. The food noise switching off, yeah, brilliant. But there's been frustration. There's been a lot of stalls. There's been weeks when absolutely nothing has happened. And there's been moments where I've questioned everything about this weight loss medication, where I could have just absolutely quit. There's been holidays. I've been on a road trip around America, a road trip around Ireland, and not really put on a huge amount of weight. There's been a few bad choices. There was a week, 2-3 weeks ago, when I went completely off the rails and the old version of me was back. And there's been a lot of plateaus for me. There's very, very much been a 2 step forwards, 1 back, 1 step forwards, 2 back for quite a while. But what it has done is it's really kept me on the level. You've got to realise that this Mounjaro doesn't do all the work for you. All it does is give you that opportunity to do the work. And there's a big difference, because the difference is that the Mounjaro didn't do the work for me. It gave me that opportunity. And a big part of that work has been changing how I actually approach food. I used to make poor choices constantly because convenience and junk food always won. If there was a choice between something healthy or a choice between an unhealthy pizza, I was going pizza all day long. And that is just how it was. These days, I try and make it easier for myself. I try and make the right choices. I'm eating more protein than I've ever eaten in my life, and I'm probably more hydrated than I've ever been in my life. That's what you need to do. You need to make the right choices alongside this medication. You can't take this medication and carry on eating how you were eating when it was the old version of you, because it won't work. And if you watch some my older plateau videos or my older store videos, the reason it wasn't working was because I got slack with it. I took my foot off the gas, a little bit of self-sabotage, and I wasn't tracking my calories properly. So generally, if it's not working, it's because you're not working with it. And that's not me saying I've done everything right, because I really haven't. I've made plenty of mistakes over the last year. I've skipped workouts because I didn't feel like it. Certainly in the winter, getting up early in the mornings, didn't fancy it at all. And I've eaten things that I've known weren't helping me on this journey. And there's been times when I've expected the scales to reward me for effort that simply wasn't consistent or good enough. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that Mounjaro doesn't make you immune to bad habits. Absolutely not. You can still overeat, you can still make poor choices, you can still slow your own progress if you're not paying attention. But what I've done is, when I've got things wrong, is I've tried to learn from it rather than quit. And yes, I have felt like quitting. I mentioned it earlier in the video. There's a few times when I could have jacked it all in, given up, gone and bought the biggest bar of chocolate I could find and stick it in my mouth. But this journey's not about being perfect all the time. And it's not a race. It's not a Sally lost 6 pounds, I only lost £1, or Steve lost 5 pounds and I've put on 2 pounds. Oh no, my journey's different than yours. Yours is different than mine. It's all about becoming a little bit better than I was yesterday, or a little bit better tomorrow than I am today. And when I look back, that's probably the part I'm the most proud of. It's not the £78 that I've lost, although I am very proud of it. It's not that number on the scales, but it's the habits I've managed to build, the mindset I've developed. One of the products I've used for my entire journey is this, and just remember, breakfast doesn't have to be boring. This is the Protein Wax Breakfast Bowl. It's Summer Berry Feast. 2 scoops, just add 150ml of milk and give it a quick stir. And then it's ready for the microwave. 1.5 minutes and it's done. What I like about these is they're made with quinoa, oats and couscous, so they feel a little bit more substantial than the standard porridge. This one packs 15 grams of protein and comes in at around 280 calories. Leave it for 5 minutes, give it a stir, and you're good to go. Warm, filling and packed with berry flavour. Perfect when you want a quick breakfast without thinking too hard about it. I'll leave a link down in the description and use code MDM for a discount. Right, so things that scare me now. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you will know what I'm worried about, and I've been worried about this since the first day I stuck that injection in my belly. And I know the biggest challenge isn't behind me, it's absolutely ahead of me. And I think you can probably all guess what I'm going to say now. Maintenance. Maintenance worries the living daylights out of me. I've had probably half a dozen plans in my head for maintenance so far, and I'm still not sure what I'm going to do. It's a concern. It causes me anxiety. I'm worried about the food noise returning. When I come off the Mounjaro, am I going to be able to keep the weight off? And it's common sense, isn't it? If I eat like I was eating before, I'm going to put weight on. I've got to be so careful. I cannot become that old version of myself again. And that's what I think about now a lot. I spend a lot of time thinking about it. And judging by the comments on the channel, it's what many of you think about too. And that's a completely different challenge. So, has it been worth it? Has the last 12 months been worth it? If you'd asked me a year ago whether I'd spend thousands and thousands of pounds on a weight loss medication, I would have said no. Without a doubt, I would have said no. Even when I decided I was going to go down the road of taking weight loss medications, I had friends and family saying, don't do it. It's bad for you, don't do it. But I made that decision myself based on some of the evidence, some of the stories that I'd seen and read. And it's hard when you've got your loved ones saying, don't do it. It's really hard. The money I've spent, I will put my hand on my heart and say, I wish I'd started sooner. And that's a massive statement for me to say, but it's absolutely what I believe. And if you're watching this video because you're thinking about starting this Mounjaro journey and you've got any doubts as to whether it's for you, obviously you're gonna speak to your medical professionals, you're gonna do your research. Don't wait 6 months to start it. Don't wait 12 months to start it, because all that time you're waiting is time when absolutely be feeling healthier, absolutely feeling more hopeful, absolutely moving in the right direction, and absolutely feeling happier. I could not be more positive about this last 12 months. It's been an absolute game changer for me. So that's what the last 12 months has felt and looked like for me. And you know, this isn't the end of the journey. In many ways, the next chapter we know is going to be the hardest one, because losing weight is one thing, but keeping it off, building a healthier lifestyle and continuing to improve year after year is a completely different challenge. For the last 12 months, I've had milestones to chase, targets to aim for, and progress to measure. At some point that focus is going to start to change. It's not going to be about losing weight, it's going to be about maintaining what I've achieved, continuing to build my strength, improving my fitness, looking after my health and becoming the best version of myself that I can be. And the truth is, I'm still learning. I don't have all the answers. I'm not an expert, I'm not a medical professional. And I know there isn't a finish line waiting for me. There isn't balloons and party poppers and streamers and all that kind of stuff. It's all about creating a healthier future for the years ahead and seeing what's possible when you keep showing up with consistency. What I do know And again, this really does mean the world to me. I couldn't have done this first year without all of you. The comments, the messages, the advice, the support and the encouragement have helped more than you will ever know. Whether you've been here from the beginning or you've only just found this channel, thank you for being part of this journey. If you've enjoyed following the first year and you'd like to see where the next chapters take us, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We got plenty more to come as I navigate my way through this journey of fitness, health, weight loss, maintenance, and everything that comes with losing weight. And if you'd like even more behind the scenes updates, early access to videos, exclusive content, and a closer look at what's happening between uploads, consider becoming a channel member, because your support really helps me to continue making these videos and documenting this journey as honestly as I possibly can. As always, there's never any pressure to do so, but the option is there should you wish to support the channel. I will leave a few of my videos on the screen right now, and I will catch up with you all on Saturday for my Saturday check-in. If you have a pet peeve of the week, leave it in the comments. If you've got any questions for Q&A, leave it in the comments. Thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all on Saturday.